This person loves you deeply, but is afraid to admit one truth. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because the universe didn't pull you here casually, it paused you here intentionally, right at the moment when something hidden is pressing against the surface. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear explains the silence, the distance, the confusion, and the feeling that something unfinished still lives between you. Listen closely. There is a person who loves you more deeply than they have ever admitted, not just to you, but to themselves, and the reason it feels heavy, unspoken, and unresolved is because one truth terrifies them more than losing you ever did. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this clarity right now. This person's love is not light or casual, it's the kind of love that rearranges identity, challenges self-image, and demands growth. And that is exactly why they are afraid. Listen to this. They didn't expect to feel this deeply. They didn't plan for it. They didn't prepare for the way your presence would wake something in them they had carefully kept asleep. Don't scroll, because awakening is uncomfortable before it is beautiful. Listen to this. They love you in the quiet moments, in the pauses between thoughts, in the spaces where truth lives without performance. They think of you when they're alone, when distractions fade, when they're honest with themselves. And that honesty scares them because it points to one undeniable truth they are not ready to face. Don't scroll, because this matters. The truth they are afraid to admit is not that they love you, it's what loving you would require of them. Listen to this. Loving you would require courage they haven't practiced, vulnerability they've avoided, choices they've delayed, and accountability they're not sure they can sustain. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reassurance right now. Their fear is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of how deeply you affect them. Listen to this. Shallow connections don't scare people, deep ones do, because depth exposes everything that isn't healed. Don't scroll, because your energy touches places they've tried not to look at. Listen to this. They feel safe with you, and that paradoxically makes them feel unsafe with themselves, because safety invites honesty, and honesty threatens old coping mechanisms. Don't scroll, because this explains the push and pull, the moments of closeness followed by distance, the affection that shows up inconsistently. Listen to this. Inconsistency is not absence of love, it's the presence of fear. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this truth right now. They are afraid to admit that loving you means they can't stay the same. Listen to this. Loving you would require them to grow, to step into alignment, to choose intentionally instead of drifting. And that level of self-responsibility is intimidating. Don't scroll, because many people would rather lose love than lose familiar versions of themselves. Listen to this. You may have felt this energetically, moments where connection felt strong without explanation, moments where you sensed them holding back words, emotions, decisions. Don't scroll, because you're not imagining it. Listen to this. Souls communicate before mouths do, and your soul already knows what their lips haven't said. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this validation right now. The universe has been confirming this connection gently, not to trap you, but to steady you. Angel numbers appearing when you think of them. 1111 when alignment feels close but incomplete. 222 when balance feels possible but delayed. 333 when emotions rise suddenly without cause. 555 when change feels near but uncertain. Don't scroll, because these are not signs telling you to wait in pain. They are signs reminding you to trust the process without abandoning yourself. Listen to this. This connection is not here to test your patience endlessly. It is here to awaken discernment. Don't scroll, because discernment is the lesson now. Listen to this. You are being shown the difference between love that feels deep and love that is ready, and those are not always the same thing. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this clarity right now. Soulmate energy does not guarantee timing, it guarantees truth. Listen to this. Soulmates often arrive before readiness to reveal what healing is required. Don't scroll, because awakening does not always lead to union. Sometimes it leads to growth that prepares you for the right form of love. Listen to this. The cliffhanger here is not whether they will admit the truth. It's whether you will continue to shrink yourself while waiting for them to do so. Don't scroll, because this is where destiny shifts. Listen to this. You are not being asked to chase, convince, or wait in silence. You are being asked to remain aligned with yourself while the universe handles what you cannot control. Don't scroll, because alignment protects you from investing where fear still rules. Listen to this. Their love is real, but fear makes love unstable. Don't scroll, because your heart deserves stability. Listen to this. You may feel torn between hope and release, between understanding their fear and honoring your needs. Don't scroll, because that tension is the sign of spiritual growth. Listen to this. Growth asks you to choose yourself without bitterness, compassion without self-sacrifice, patience without self-abandonment. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this permission right now. Permission to acknowledge the love without being trapped by it. Listen to this. The universe is not punishing you with delays, it is protecting you from half choices. Don't scroll, because half choices wound deeper than honest endings. Listen to this. If this person is meant to step forward, they will do so from courage, not pressure, from truth, not fear. Don't scroll, because anything else would cost you peace. Listen to this. Peace is the indicator now, not intensity. Don't scroll, because intensity can exist without safety. Listen to this. Safety feels calm, consistent, and clear. Don't scroll, because your nervous system is learning that difference. Listen to this. The reason this message feels soothing and heavy at the same time is because truth does both. It comforts and confronts. Don't scroll, because confronting truth is how cycles end. Listen to this. You are not losing anything by staying aligned. You are gaining clarity. Don't scroll, because clarity attracts what is ready. Listen to this. Whether this person finds the courage to admit the truth or not, your path does not stall. Don't scroll, because destiny does not wait for fear to resolve itself. Listen to this. Destiny moves toward those who choose wholeness. Don't scroll, because you are choosing wholeness now. Listen to this. The universe sees your heart, sees your patience, sees your growth, and it will not let real love bypass you. Don't scroll, because love that is meant for you will meet you without confusion. Listen to this. This message is not the end, it's the turning point. Don't scroll, because what happens next depends on alignment, courage, and timing, and none of those require you to suffer. Listen to this. Breathe, stay present, don't scroll, because the truth you needed has arrived, and from this place of clarity, everything that comes next will be cleaner, calmer, and more honest than what you've known before. Don't scroll. Listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because what's unfolding next isn't about guessing how they feel anymore. It's about understanding why the truth has been sitting at the edge of their lips and never quite crossing over. Stay with me, because this is where the universe slows everything down so you can finally hear what's been happening beneath the surface. Listen closely. This person loves you deeply, not in a fleeting way, not in a convenient way, but in a way that disrupts the structure of their life, and that's exactly why they're afraid to admit one truth. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this clarity right now. The truth they're afraid to admit isn't just, "I love you." I would have to change to keep you, and change is where fear hides. Listen to this. They feel the pull toward you in moments when they're honest with themselves, late at night, early in the morning, in quiet spaces where distraction can't save them, and in those moments your name carries weight, not nostalgia, not fantasy, but consequence. Don't scroll, because consequence is what makes love feel dangerous to someone who has survived by staying emotionally guarded. Listen to this. Loving you would mean stepping out of patterns that once protected them. It would mean choosing consistency over convenience, vulnerability over control, intention over avoidance. And that's a level of courage they're still learning how to access. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reassurance right now. Their hesitation is not a lack of feeling, it's the presence of fear. Listen to this. Fear doesn't show up when love is shallow, it shows up when love is transformative. Don't scroll, because transformation threatens the comfort of the familiar. Listen to this. You didn't just enter their life, you challenged their identity. You mirrored back parts of themselves they hadn't healed, parts they weren't ready to take responsibility for, and that mirror is powerful. Don't scroll, because mirrors make people uncomfortable before they make them free. Listen to this. You may have felt the connection surge and stall, intensify and then retreat, moments where it felt undeniable followed by silence that made no sense. Don't scroll, because that push-pull was not about you being too much, it was about them feeling too exposed. Listen to this. Exposure feels unsafe to someone who learned love through survival. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this compassion right now, compassion for yourself first, then for them. Listen to this. The universe has been whispering confirmations to steady you so you don't internalize their fear as your failure. Angel numbers appearing when your emotions spike. 1111 when alignment is present but unresolved. 222 when balance is being negotiated internally. 333 when emotions surface without warning. 555 when change is inevitable but resisted. Don't scroll, because these are not signs telling you to wait endlessly, they are signs reminding you to stay anchored while truth works its way forward. Listen to this. Soulmate connections don't always arrive fully formed, sometimes they arrive to expose the gap between feeling and readiness. Don't scroll, because that gap is where growth happens. Listen to this. The cliffhanger isn't whether they love you, that's already answered. The cliffhanger is whether they will choose courage over fear, and whether you will choose alignment over longing. Don't scroll, because this is where destiny splits into different paths. Listen to this. You are not meant to shrink your needs to make their fear manageable. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this boundary right now. Love that asks you to wait in uncertainty indefinitely is not alignment, even if the feelings are real. Listen to this. Real love still requires action, presence, and accountability. Don't scroll, because feelings without follow-through create emotional debt. Listen to this. You may feel torn between empathy and exhaustion, between understanding their wounds and honoring your own healing. Don't scroll, because that tension is the sign that your soul is maturing. Listen to this. Maturity doesn't harden the heart, it clarifies it. Don't scroll, because clarity allows you to hold compassion without self-sacrifice. Listen to this. The universe is not asking you to abandon hope or close your heart, it's asking you to stop confusing intensity with destiny. Don't scroll, because destiny feels steady, not chaotic. Listen to this. You are learning to recognize safety as a spiritual signal, not boredom. Don't scroll, because safety allows love to last. Listen to this. The reason this message feels soothing is because your nervous system recognizes truth when it's spoken calmly. Don't scroll, because calm truth doesn't manipulate, it grounds. Listen to this. If this person is meant to step forward, it will happen when fear no longer outweighs honesty, not because you waited harder, but because they grew enough. Don't scroll, because growth cannot be forced. Listen to this, and if they do not step forward, that does not mean the connection was meaningless. It means its purpose was awakening, not permanence. Don't scroll, because awakening changes who you accept going forward. Listen to this. You are being prepared for love that doesn't hide, doesn't hesitate, doesn't require decoding. Don't scroll, because your heart deserves clarity. Listen to this. Clarity doesn't always come as a confession. Sometimes it comes as understanding that frees you from waiting. Don't scroll, because waiting without movement drains life force. Listen to this. Your life force is precious, and the universe protects it by teaching discernment. Don't scroll, because discernment is love with wisdom. Listen to this. You can honor the depth of this connection without letting it define your future. Don't scroll, because your future needs space for reciprocity. Listen to this. Reciprocity is the divine standard, not intensity. Don't scroll, because intensity can exist alongside fear. Listen to this. But reciprocity requires courage. Don't scroll, because courage is what transforms love into partnership. Listen to this. You may notice that as you hold this truth, your energy shifts. You feel less anxious, less pulled, more centered. Don't scroll, because that centering is alignment. Listen to this. Alignment doesn't chase answers, it attracts clarity. Don't scroll, because clarity arrives when you stop abandoning yourself. Listen to this. You are not responsible for carrying their unspoken truth, they are. Don't scroll, because carrying what isn't yours creates imbalance. Listen to this. Balance is being restored now. Don't scroll, because restoration feels like relief mixed with acceptance. Listen to this. Acceptance doesn't mean settling, it means choosing peace over ambiguity. Don't scroll, because ambiguity keeps wounds open. Listen to this. The universe is closing this chapter energetically so it doesn't follow you forward unresolved. Don't scroll, because unresolved energy repeats. Listen to this. Repetition is how lessons return until they're learned. Don't scroll, because you are learning. Listen to this. You're learning that love must be brave to be sustainable. Don't scroll, because bravery is the truth they're afraid to admit. Listen to this, and whether they rise to it or not, you will not be punished for staying aligned. Don't scroll, because alignment is rewarded with peace and clearer connections. Listen to this. You don't need to confront, chase, or explain. You need to stay grounded in what feels right in your body and spirit. Don't scroll, because your body is wiser than confusion. Listen to this. As you hold this truth, something shifts. You feel lighter, less attached to outcome, more trusting of timing. Don't scroll, because trust dissolves fear. Listen to this. Fear dissolving is the real miracle here, not whether someone speaks. Don't scroll, because a fearless heart attracts honest love. Listen to this. Honest love does not hide behind silence. Don't scroll, because silence is no longer your teacher. Listen to this. Discernment is. Don't scroll, because discernment guides you toward relationships that meet you in clarity and courage. Listen to this. The universe is not taking anything away from you, it's refining what you allow near your heart. Don't scroll, because refinement protects destiny. Listen to this. Destiny is not about who loves you quietly, it's about who loves you openly and chooses you consistently. Don't scroll, because consistency is sacred. Listen to this. You are stepping into a season where love feels safe, spoken, and mutual. Don't scroll, because this message is the bridge between confusion and clarity. Listen to this. Breathe, stay present, don't scroll, because your heart needed to hear that love can be real and still not be ready, and that your worth is not measured by someone else's fear. From this place of understanding, everything that comes next will feel steadier, clearer, and more aligned than what you've known before. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because what you're sensing isn't confusion, it's truth pressing against fear. Stay with me, because this part goes deeper than emotions and explains why the connection feels intense yet unresolved. Listen closely. This person loves you deeply, not in a surface way, not in a passing way, but in a way that reaches into their core and unsettles parts of them they thought were settled long ago, and that is exactly why they are afraid to admit one truth. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this clarity right now. The truth they are afraid to admit is not simply that they love you, it's that loving you would require them to step into a version of themselves they've been avoiding. Listen to this. They would have to be honest, consistent, emotionally present, and accountable, and while love feels beautiful, responsibility feels heavy to someone who learned to survive by staying guarded. Don't scroll, because this explains the silence, the hesitation, the moments where it feels like they're right there but never fully stepping forward. Listen to this. They feel you when you're not around, they think of you when their mind finally quiets, they replay moments not because they miss the past, but because the past reminds them of a version of themselves that felt more real when they were with you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reassurance right now. You did not imagine the depth, you did not create meaning where there was none. This connection touched them deeply, and depth is exactly what scares people who are still learning how to hold it. Listen to this. Loving you would require them to let go of control, to risk being seen, to risk failing at something that actually matters, and fear grows louder when something matters. Don't scroll, because fear doesn't show up when the stakes are low. Listen to this. The push and pull you felt was not manipulation, it was internal conflict, a war between what they feel and what they believe they can handle. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this understanding right now. Understanding does not excuse behavior, but it frees you from blaming yourself. Listen to this. Their inability to admit the truth is not a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of their readiness. Don't scroll, because readiness cannot be forced by love alone. Listen to this. Love opens the door, but courage decides whether someone walks through it. Don't scroll, because this is where many people confuse soulmate energy with inevitability. Listen to this. Soul connections awaken, but awakening does not guarantee action. Sometimes it reveals exactly what still needs healing. Don't scroll, because healing is uncomfortable before it is liberating. Listen to this. You may have noticed signs from the universe confirming this connection. Angel numbers appearing when your emotions spike or when thoughts of them surface unexpectedly. 1111 when alignment feels close but incomplete. 222 when balance feels possible but fragile. 333 when emotions rise suddenly. 555 when change feels imminent yet resisted. Don't scroll, because these signs are not telling you to wait in limbo, they are reminding you to stay grounded while truth unfolds. Listen to this. The universe is not testing your patience, it is strengthening your discernment. Don't scroll, because discernment is what protects your heart from staying too long where fear still dominates. Listen to this. You are being asked to see the difference between someone who loves you and someone who is ready to love you out loud. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this distinction right now. Loving quietly can feel romantic, but it can also become painful when it keeps you guessing. Listen to this. Love that is meant to grow meets you in clarity, not confusion. Don't scroll, because confusion drains your nervous system and dims your intuition. Listen to this. Your intuition has been speaking clearly. Even if your emotions try to override it, don't scroll, because intuition whispers while attachment shouts. Listen to this. Attachment says, maybe they'll change. Intuition says, notice what is. Don't scroll, because noticing what is frees you from waiting for potential. Listen to this. You may feel compassion for their fear, empathy for their wounds, and that compassion is real, but compassion does not require self-sacrifice. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this boundary right now. You are allowed to honor the love without building your future on someone else's fear. Listen to this. Fear-driven love often creates cycles of hope and disappointment, intensity and absence, closeness and withdrawal. Don't scroll, because cycles repeat until clarity interrupts them. Listen to this. Clarity is arriving now, not to harden you, but to steady you. Don't scroll, because steadiness allows you to choose peace without bitterness. Listen to this. The cliffhanger here is not whether they will admit the truth. The cliffhanger is whether you will continue to delay your own alignment while waiting for someone else to catch up. Don't scroll, because destiny does not pause for fear. Listen to this. Destiny moves toward those who choose wholeness even when it's uncomfortable. Don't scroll, because you are learning how to choose wholeness now. Listen to this. You are not being asked to shut your heart, you are being asked to protect it. Don't scroll, because protection is not rejection, it's self-respect. Listen to this. Self-respect shifts the energy of every connection you have. Don't scroll, because when you stop accepting ambiguity, clarity has no choice but to appear. Listen to this. Either through someone stepping forward honestly or through you stepping forward alone with peace. Don't scroll, because both outcomes are aligned when you remain true to yourself. Listen to this. You may notice your energy changing as you hear this. Less anxious, less consumed, more centered. Don't scroll, because that centering is your soul settling into truth. Listen to this. Truth does not always come with fireworks, sometimes it comes with a deep exhale. Don't scroll, because your heart needs that exhale right now. Listen to this. Love that is real does not disappear, but love that is afraid cannot lead. Don't scroll, because leadership in love looks like courage, consistency, and presence. Listen to this. Presence is what you deserve, not just feelings held in silence. Don't scroll, because silence has taught you enough. Listen to this. The universe is guiding you toward love that feels safe in your body, clear in your mind, and peaceful in your spirit. Don't scroll, because peace is the new indicator, not intensity. Listen to this. Intensity can coexist with fear, but peace cannot. Don't scroll, because peace requires honesty. Listen to this. Honesty is the truth they are afraid to admit, not because it's about you, but because it's about who they would have to become. Don't scroll, because becoming requires letting go of old identities. Listen to this. And not everyone is ready to do that when love arrives. Don't scroll, because timing matters as much as feeling. Listen to this. You are not wrong for feeling deeply, and you are not wrong for wanting clarity. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this validation right now. Wanting clarity is not pressure, it's self-respect. Listen to this. Self-respect invites aligned love, not fear-based hesitation. Don't scroll, because aligned love meets you without hiding. Listen to this. Whatever happens next will not punish you for staying true to yourself. Don't scroll, because the universe does not reward self-abandonment. Listen to this. It rewards alignment, courage, and honesty. Don't scroll, because honesty with yourself is what you're practicing now. Listen to this. The fear they carry is theirs to face, not yours to fix. Don't scroll, because fixing someone else's fear costs you your peace. Listen to this. Peace is your responsibility now. Don't scroll, Because protecting your peace does not mean you loved less, it means you loved wisely. Listen to this, wisdom grows from experience, and you have lived the experience. Don't scroll, because the lesson is landing. Listen to this, love that is meant to stay will not ask you to live in uncertainty. Don't scroll, because uncertainty drains your future. Listen to this, your future is calling for clarity, reciprocity, and courage. Don't scroll, because those qualities are non-negotiable now. Listen to this, whether this person finds the courage to admit the truth or not, you are not left behind. Don't scroll, because alignment always moves you forward. Listen to this, forward does not always mean away from someone. Sometimes it means deeper into yourself. Don't scroll, because that is where your power lies. Listen to this, power does not beg for love, it chooses peace. Don't scroll, because peace is the ground on which real love grows. Listen to this, breathe, stay present, don't scroll. Because this truth was meant to find you now, at the moment when your heart is strong enough to hold it without breaking, and from this place of clarity, everything that comes next will feel steadier, safer, and more aligned than what you've known before. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because what you're feeling isn't uncertainty anymore, it's awareness sharpening itself. Stay with me, because this layer reveals why the love you sense feels undeniable yet unresolved. Listen closely, this person loves you deeply, and that love has reached a point where it can no longer hide comfortably inside them. But fear has learned how to disguise itself as timing, logic, and silence. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this clarity right now, the truth they are afraid to admit is not just emotional, it's existential. Loving you would require them to confront the version of themselves they've been postponing. Listen to this, they would have to stop running from consistency, stop bargaining with potential, stop using distance as protection, and that shift feels terrifying to someone who has survived by staying half involved. Don't scroll, because half involvement feels safe to people who fear loss of control. Listen to this, your presence disrupted that illusion of control. You didn't demand change, you revealed it, and revelation always creates pressure before it creates peace. Don't scroll, because pressure is what you've been feeling, that unspoken tension between what could be and what is. Listen to this, they feel it too, but where you leaned into understanding, they leaned into avoidance. Don't scroll, because avoidance feels safer than honesty when honesty requires accountability. Listen to this, accountability is the truth they are afraid to admit, not because it's about you asking for more, but because it's about them needing to become more. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reminder right now. Your needs were never unreasonable, your expectations were never excessive, they were simply incompatible with someone still negotiating their own courage. Listen to this. Love does not scare people, responsibility does. Don't scroll, because responsibility means choosing intentionally rather than drifting comfortably. Listen to this, you didn't just offer affection, you offered depth, and depth exposes the cost of staying the same. Don't scroll, because staying the same is often the real attachment people protect. Listen to this, you may have noticed moments where they almost stepped forward, moments where words hovered but never landed, actions hinted but never followed through. Don't scroll, because those moments were real, they weren't imagined. Listen to this, they were the edges of courage brushing against fear. Don't scroll, because fear tends to win when there's no inner support system strong enough to hold change. Listen to this, their internal structure isn't fully built yet, and love without structure feels overwhelming. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this compassion without self-blame. Listen to this, you didn't overwhelm them, the truth did. Don't scroll, Because truth rearranges priorities, listen to this, and rearranging priorities threatens comfort zones built on avoidance. Don't scroll, because comfort zones are seductive but limiting. Listen to this, you didn't come into their life to be hidden, you came in to be felt, and being felt deeply requires presence. Don't scroll, because presence is what they're still learning how to sustain. Listen to this. The universe has been sending subtle confirmations to help you separate love from readiness, signs that appear when you're torn between holding on and letting go, moments of synchronicity that slow you down instead of pushing you forward. Don't scroll, because these signs are not telling you to wait indefinitely, they're teaching you to listen to your body. Listen to this, your body tightens when uncertainty repeats, it relaxes when truth settles. Don't scroll, because your heart needs that somatic wisdom right now. Love that is meant to grow feels safe even when it's deep. Listen to this, love that is afraid feels intense but unstable. Don't scroll, because intensity can mask imbalance. Listen to this, you are learning to recognize the difference, and that learning is not accidental. Don't scroll, because this is spiritual maturation. Listen to this, maturation doesn't harden your heart, it refines your standards. Don't scroll, because standards protect your future. Listen to this, you may feel grief for what could have been, and that grief is valid. But don't scroll, because grief does not mean you should return to uncertainty. Listen to this, grief honors what was felt without forcing it to continue. Don't scroll, because forcing creates resentment. Listen to this, resentment is what the universe is protecting you from now. Don't scroll, because your heart needs peace more than potential. Listen to this, potential without action drains energy. Don't scroll, because energy is sacred. Listen to this, you gave energy generously, patiently, sincerely, and that generosity taught you discernment. Don't scroll, because discernment is love with wisdom. Listen to this, wisdom allows you to hold compassion for their fear without building a future around it. Don't scroll, because your future deserves stability. Listen to this, stability doesn't arrive through emotional highs and lows, it arrives through consistency, clarity, and mutual courage. Don't scroll, because courage must be mutual to sustain love. Listen to this, you may wonder whether they'll ever admit the truth, and that wondering keeps the mind busy. But don't scroll, because the real question is no longer about them. Listen to this, the real question is whether you will continue honoring your growth even if the truth remains unspoken. Don't scroll, because honoring your growth is non-negotiable now. Listen to this, you didn't come this far to shrink back into waiting rooms of uncertainty. Don't scroll, because waiting rooms are not destinations. Listen to this, destinations are built on clarity. Don't scroll, because clarity is what you're stepping into now. Listen to this, clarity doesn't demand closure conversations, it arrives internally when you stop negotiating with fear. Don't scroll, because negotiation with fear costs peace. Listen to this, peace is your new metric. Don't scroll, because peace doesn't mean absence of feeling, it means presence of trust. Listen to this, trust in yourself, trust in timing, trust that love meant for you will not require you to interpret silence as devotion. Don't scroll, because devotion shows up. Listen to this, showing up consistently is the truth they're afraid to admit they can't yet sustain. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this honesty right now. You deserve love that meets you without hesitation. Listen to this, hesitation erodes intimacy over time. Don't scroll, because intimacy needs safety. Listen to this, safety is what your nervous system is learning to prioritize. Don't scroll, because your nervous system has carried enough uncertainty. Listen to this, as you hear this, you may feel a soft release, not dramatic, but real, and that release is your soul letting go of responsibility for someone else's readiness. Don't scroll, because that responsibility was never yours. Listen to this, responsibility for your alignment is yours, and you are choosing it now. Don't scroll, because choosing alignment feels like relief mixed with sadness. Listen to this. Sadness does not mean wrong choice, it means honest choice. Don't scroll, because honesty with yourself is the most loving act you can perform. Listen to this. The universe is not punishing you by revealing this truth, it's freeing you from cycles. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because what you are standing in is no longer confusion, it is revelation arriving gently instead of forcefully. Stay with me, because this layer is where the truth stops hurting and starts making sense. Listen closely. This person loves you deeply, not in a fleeting way, not in a surface-level way, but in a way that settled into them quietly and refused to leave, and yet they are still afraid to admit one truth because admitting it would collapse the walls they built to survive. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this clarity right now. The truth they are afraid to admit is not only about love, it is about readiness, about whether they are willing to become the kind of person who can sustain what they feel. Listen to this. Loving you would require consistency, emotional availability, and the courage to choose instead of drifting. And drifting has been their safety net for a long time. Don't scroll, because drifting allows feelings without responsibility. Listen to this. Responsibility is what frightens them, not intimacy. Don't scroll, because intimacy reveals responsibility. Listen to this. They feel how deeply you see them, and being seen is beautiful until it exposes what someone is avoiding. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reassurance right now. You did not scare them away by loving fully. You simply illuminated what was unfinished within them. Listen to this. Illumination always creates discomfort before clarity. Don't scroll, because clarity requires honesty. Listen to this. Honesty would force them to admit that staying half-present is no longer enough, that avoiding decisions is no longer neutral, that silence has consequences. Don't scroll, because consequences are what make fear loud. Listen to this. They are not afraid of losing you. They are afraid of what keeping you would demand of them. Don't scroll, because keeping you would mean showing up in ways they haven't practiced. Listen to this. Showing up consistently requires emotional regulation, self-awareness, and accountability, and those are skills built through intention, not feeling alone. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this distinction right now. Love can exist without readiness, but partnership cannot. Listen to this. You may have felt moments where they almost crossed the threshold. Moments where energy shifted, words hovered, actions almost aligned, then pulled back. Don't scroll, because that wasn't manipulation, it was fear negotiating with desire. Listen to this. Fear often wins when someone hasn't learned how to sit with discomfort. Don't scroll, because growth requires discomfort. Listen to this. You were willing to sit in discomfort to grow. They were still trying to escape it. Don't scroll, because that difference matters. Listen to this. The universe has been helping you see this, not to harden your heart, but to protect it. Don't scroll, because protection is love directed inward. Listen to this. You may have noticed signs confirming this lesson, moments where you felt calm detachment instead of longing, angel numbers appearing when you chose yourself, not when you chased clarity. Don't scroll, because those signs are grounding you, not pulling you back. Listen to this. The universe is teaching you that peace is the signal now, not intensity. Don't scroll, because intensity can exist alongside fear. Listen to this. But peace requires honesty and alignment. Don't scroll, because alignment is what your soul is prioritizing. Listen to this. The cliffhanger here is not whether they will ever admit the truth. The cliffhanger is whether you will stop waiting for someone else's courage to validate your own worth. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this shift right now. Waiting quietly can feel noble, but it slowly erodes self-trust. Listen to this. Self-trust is what you have rebuilt. Don't scroll, because rebuilding self-trust takes time, reflection, and difficult choices. Listen to this. You chose to listen to your body when it tightened around uncertainty. You chose to step back when silence repeated, and those choices strengthened you. Don't scroll, because strength does not look like endurance anymore. It looks like discernment. Listen to this. Discernment allows you to love without losing yourself. Don't scroll, because losing yourself is not the price of real love. Listen to this. Real love expands you. It doesn't shrink you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this reminder right now. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for what matches your capacity to give. Listen to this. Capacity matters more than intention. Don't scroll, because intention without capacity creates imbalance. Listen to this. Imbalance is what you've been feeling, not lack of love. Don't scroll, because imbalance drains energy. Listen to this. Your energy is sacred, and the universe is protecting it by clarifying this truth. Don't scroll, because clarity arrives when you stop romanticizing potential and start honoring reality. Listen to this. Reality does not mean the feelings weren't real. It means the readiness wasn't mutual. Don't scroll, because mutual readiness is what sustains connection. Listen to this. You are being prepared for love that feels calm, chosen, and consistent. Don't scroll, because consistent love doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. Listen to this. You may feel grief as you accept this truth. Grief for the version of the story you hoped for, and that grief is valid. Don't scroll, because grief honors attachment without chaining you to it. Listen to this. Honoring is different from clinging. Don't scroll, because clinging keeps wounds open. Listen to this. You are closing the wound by choosing understanding over fantasy. Don't scroll, because fantasy delays healing. Listen to this. Healing is happening now because you are seeing clearly without self-blame. Don't scroll, because blame distorts truth. Listen to this. The truth is simple even if it's heavy. They love you deeply, and they are afraid of what that love would require. Don't scroll, because that fear belongs to them, not you. Listen to this. You are not responsible for carrying someone else's unspoken truth. Don't scroll, because carrying it keeps you emotionally suspended. Listen to this. Suspension is not living. Don't scroll, because living requires presence. Listen to this. Presence is what you're reclaiming now. Don't scroll, because presence allows you to feel grounded even when answers are incomplete. Listen to this. Grounded people don't chase clarity, they attract it. Don't scroll, because clarity is attracted by self-respect. Listen to this. Self-respect is choosing peace even when love exists. Don't scroll, because love without peace becomes a cycle. Listen to this. Cycles repeat until lessons are learned. Don't scroll, because you are learning. Listen to this. The universe does not want you repeating this pattern in a new form. It wants you moving forward wiser. Don't scroll, because wisdom is what you've earned through this experience. Listen to this. Wisdom does not harden your heart, it steadies it. Don't scroll, because a steady heart recognizes when love is real but not aligned. Listen to this. Alignment is the new requirement. Don't scroll, because alignment protects your future relationships. Listen to this. Future love will not require you to interpret silence as devotion. Don't scroll, because devotion shows up. Listen to this. It speaks, it chooses, it acts. Don't scroll, because action is the language of readiness. Listen to this, you deserve readiness, not just affection. Don't scroll, because affection without readiness leaves you waiting. Listen to this, waiting quietly is still waiting. Don't scroll, because your life is meant to be lived, not paused. Listen to this, the universe is not punishing you by revealing this, it's freeing you from investing further where fear still leads. Don't scroll, because fear-led love eventually hurts deeper. Listen to this, courage-led love heals. Don't scroll, because courage is what your soul is calling in now. Listen to this, courage to choose yourself without bitterness, courage to release expectations without closing your heart. Don't scroll, because that balance is spiritual maturity. Listen to this, maturity is knowing when to step back without resentment. Don't scroll, because resentment poisons peace. Listen to this, peace is what you're choosing now. Don't scroll, because peace does not mean the love wasn't real, it means you are honoring yourself. Listen to this, honoring yourself shifts the energy of what comes next. Don't scroll, because what comes next will meet you without fear, without hesitation, without silence. Listen to this, it will meet you in clarity, reciprocity, and calm. Don't scroll, because calm is the new confirmation. Listen to this, as you settle into this truth, you may feel lighter, less attached to outcome, more trusting of timing. Don't scroll, because trust dissolves anxiety. Listen to this, anxiety belongs to uncertainty. Don't scroll, because uncertainty no longer controls you. Listen to this, you are stepping into a season where love feels safe to receive, not just exciting to imagine. Don't scroll, because imagination kept you hopeful, but clarity keeps you grounded. Listen to this, grounded love is sustainable. Don't scroll, because sustainability is what your future requires. Listen to this, whether this person ever admits the truth or not, you are no longer defined by waiting. Don't scroll, because waiting has ended internally. Listen to this, internal endings create external beginnings. Don't scroll, because beginnings are forming quietly now. Listen to this, quiet beginnings are the most stable. Don't scroll, because stability is the foundation of lasting love. Listen to this, breathe, let this truth settle. Don't scroll, because your heart needed to hear that love can be deep and still not be the destination, and that choosing peace is not giving up, it's moving forward wisely. From this place, everything that unfolds next will meet you with more honesty, safety, and alignment than anything you've known before. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because what you are sensing is not imagination, it's alignment sharpening your awareness. Stay with me,